Hey, welcome in to the Mystery Fifth Hour. It is presented every single time at McCurry Van and Car Rental. McCurry Van and Car Rental. I got big news for McCurry. Can you guys guess what the news would be?
You are renting one and driving to 420 this year in Boulder.
McDonald's is introducing the McCurry McFlurry.
Neither one of those are correct. Oh. Jim, you are the last.
My guess would absolutely be that you have found out that they now have more cars, elite cars, available than any other rental service in America.
That one would not surprise me. You've got the most legitimate guess of these three. If you need a car, van, or truck, rent from McCurry. McCurry Van and Car Rental, the local rental company you can depend on. They have all kinds of vehicles there. That includes trucks, SUVs, and passenger vans. They make it easy to rent. They get you in and out fast. They got locations in Athens, Muscle Shoals, Huntsville, Coleman Avenue on Coleman on 2nd Avenue Northwest, and coming soon to Tuscaloosa on Skyline Boulevard. That's the big news. You can reserve your rental today, 256-559-1003. That's 256-559-1003. Or visit McCurryRentals.com. That is McCurryRentals.com. That is Jim Dunaway. That is Rockstar Sean Henniger. I'm Ryan Brown. That is Lance Taylor. If you are watching us on YouTube, as I know you are, because that's where this is available, give us a thumbs up, please, and make sure you have subscribed to our YouTube channel and set your alerts so you know when we're live. Number 12, our next to latest employee. We have hired number 13 since hiring number 12. Number 12 has taken over coming up with topics for the Mystery Fifth Hour. We have been doing this show for a very, very long time, and we all throw out topics. And to get a little freshness here, number 12 is coming up with them, and he has come up with a doozy today. He wrote a Would You Rather last week when Rockstar and Jim and I did it with EG and Little T. This week, we're going to do something we've never done here. We're going to do a fantasy draft on the Mystery Fifth Hour. So here's the premise, boys. Saturday Night Live started October 11th, 1975. At some point in your lifetime, you've all watched it, right? Regularly?
I loved it in the late 70s. It's the first time, this is weird. I remember it was the first time I ever heard penis on the air.
All right.
Really?
Yeah.
Life-changing moment for you.
It was, yeah.
I'm going to watch this show every Saturday.
But I watched it. I remember the Land Shark days, late 70s, 80s. I think early 90s might have been the best.
Right.
I tapped out about a decade ago or so.
Okay. Early 90s, the best. Rockstar, do you watch it regularly?
I feel like it's everybody's favorites almost is when they were in high school.
That's why I was going to see when everybody said the best era was, because I think that is the case. Like when you're
I was in kindergarten.
when you're in your late teens, yeah, the 70s.
That's what it was. I mean, in the 70s, I was watching it. My parents didn't know I was watching it. That's what
So the best era was when you're not supposed to be watching it, right?
Absolutely.
Well, that was a great cast, too, in the late 70s. I mean,
yeah. So basically, the show started in 1975. 48 seasons now they've completed. And it's produced, I mean, you would have to say, of anything that has ever been on TV, just a slew of comedic talent, unlike any other thing that's ever been on TV.
Yeah, and one of the most, I guess, famous creators / producers of all time, and Lorne Michaels.
Yeah.
It's also the last, every year it's always like, this is the end of the Saturday Night Live.
Everybody has,
It's been like that since 91.
Yeah, there have been a lot of eulogies for
But
it.
I bet the ratings are rat shit now.
Oh, definitely now, because that's why I think they put everything on Hulu.
Has Lorne Michaels, has he had a whole lot of controversy around him?
I mean,
it is amazing.
Yeah, that you can host like those after parties where everybody's doing enormous amounts of cocaine.
Correct.
And there's probably so much sexual harassment that was going on.
That's what I was going to say. I mean, as many people have come through that cast, and you've really never heard a ton of controversy about Lorne Michaels.
You've had quite a few of those cast members.
You've heard a lot of controversy about the cast members, right? Yeah, what, expired?
Yeah, I think a lot of these cast members have expired.
Yeah.
A lot of substance abuse.
So here's what we're going to do. You look back at the entire, this is what number 12 wants us to do. Look back at the entire history of the show, and we're going to draft a 6-person dream team. And here's the criteria, okay? Pick number 1, and we've got the pick set up. We're going to snake this thing. Pick number 1, you're going to pick your point guard. This is going to be any female talent that's ever been on the show. Any female ever on the show.
Was Pat a female?
That is a thumbs down from number 12. Michael Myers played that part, right? So that is a male.
Julia Sweeney.
Yeah, Julia Sweeney.
There you go.
And we're off. And we're off.
We're off, yes.
And if you're watching this, if you're a Saturday Night Live person and
Yeah,
you
my
know
bad.
all this, we're about to step on your toes probably 16 times in the next 30 minutes.
Pick number 2 is going to be a shooting guard. Anybody that's ever hosted Weekend Update that has not already been drafted. So if somebody didn't go pick one and they've hosted Weekend Update, you're good to go there. Pick 3 is going to be a small forward, the biggest star of our team. Anybody, any era, the biggest star that you could think of. Number 4 is a power forward. It's anybody that's currently undrafted cast member that is known most for the impressions that they leave the show with. So in other words, I'm not going to give an example, but you know them more for the impressions than you do for actually being on the show. Number 5 is a center, anybody that's ever hosted the show, so the host that comes in, and it could be a former cast member. And then we'll pick a 6th man, somebody that never really was an A-lister, but could be a very, very funny person on that show any given night. And we will have to determine is it or is it not an A-lister. We can throw a challenge flag if we don't think that, or we do think that's an A-lister and you've used a bad pick there, okay? All right, so that's the criteria. Here is the pick order. It is going to go Dunaway, Rockstar, Lance, me. We sat out of order. If I'd have thought ahead, we would have sat in order.
It's okay.
And it's going to snake from there. So I'll get back-to-back picks. Jim, you are pick number 1. We're going to start with the point guard, Saturday Night Live. Any female talent in the history of the show, Jim Dunaway.
Tina Fey, actor and writer.
Everybody wanted Tina Fey. There is no doubt everybody was going to go Tina Fey. Rockstar.
She was head writer for the longest time too, and I think she was the first female head writer they ever had, and she lasted such a long. She's so good, but I will go
Very
with.
funny person.
I mean, who are you? Mel Kiper of this draft?
He's got a breakdown.
She got a great arm. She did a 40. I think she did
Good
like
get off.
6'5".
Big upside.
Big upside. Yeah,
She's
good
a
job.
writer.
She can iron a shirt.
She's a writer's room rat. She's always in the writer's room.
For my pick, I'm going to go with Kristen Wiig.
Okay.
All right, Kristen Wiig. I did not expect
I am
Kristen Wiig
going
to go this
start
early.
on my big
old
board.
school here, and I will take Gilda Radner.
She passed.
Yeah, she did pass. She,
That's
she
like
was
an 89.
married
Oh, yeah?
to Gene Wilder.
Gene Wilder.
Yeah.
Yeah, and she was on the show for 5 years, but yeah, she got cancer and she passed.
That's very
Number 2 on my big board.
She was really
still
funny.
out there.
She was number 2 in your big board is still out there, Dunaway. It is my pick. I get the last pick here. I think I am going to go Kate McKinnon.
Do you think, or are you going to go?
I am going to go Kate McKinnon.
Kate McKinnon's best role yesterday. She plays. Yeah.
Why? This is a Friday, Lance. That was a Thursday.
No, but yesterday, really good movie, Danny Boyle. It's the premise: kid gets hit on a bike, wakes up, there's no Beatles ever, and
I
then
like
he
that
starts.
movie.
It's a very good movie.
That's a good flick.
But Kate McKinnon plays his manager, and she is such a bitch. But I mean, she plays it perfectly.
Right?
Yeah. Pour one out for Jane Curtin as the female in Coneheads or whatever it was.
Those Coneheads.
Yeah, back in the day.
She also hosted Weekend Update.
Amy Poehler too.
Could still be
come
picked.
back.
Could
I
still
loved
come
Amy
back.
Poehler because she called out that dickhead Jimmy Fallon. And she continues to call him out. They got into it the other night.
They hosted the Weekend Update.
I bet she
together
could
for a
whip
long
his
time.
ass up.
Dunaway, so did I take the one that was still at the top of your big board there?
No, Amy Poehler and Jane Curtin were the two that I thought should have gone to somebody.
I think we've all got solid ones.
Okay. All right. So Tina Fey, Kristen Wiig, Gilda Radner, and Kate McKinnon. That's who goes. All right. So we're to round number 2. I get the first pick here. This is anybody that's ever hosted Weekend Update that has not already been drafted. Now, as it turns out, I have got all the Weekend Update hosts here. So if you have any questions, I can answer those for you.
So you're saying you got Wikipedia?
I do have Wikipedia, Jim. Thank you. I am going to go who I think is one of the funniest people ever to have lived, Norm Macdonald. That will be my Weekend Update.
That was
host.
going to be my number 1.
I love me some Norm Macdonald. I think he's hilarious. He's just so dry. His delivery is fantastic. The moth joke he told on Conan O'Brien is one of the funniest things that's ever been on TV.
Sadly
in my
about
opinion.
Norm, a lot of people didn't get him.
Yeah.
He was just one of those comics where people were just like, what is this guy? He was a true comics comic.
Dude, the best was him as Burt Reynolds.
Yeah.
Oh, he played Burt
Yes.
He
Reynolds.
He's
sold that
Bandit.
impression, and he tried so hard to nail that impression.
He really did the chewing the gum the whole time. My favorite Norm Macdonald bit was where he does the thing like everybody's worried about all these countries. I'm worried about Germany because they've done 2 world wars. And he goes, so they started a war and they chose as their opponent the world.
Twice. Not once, but twice.
Not once, but twice.
I was going to take
Lance,
Norm
yes.
Macdonald.
You were going to take Norm Macdonald. I took your
Because
pick.
I was going to try to have a starting 6 or a starting 5 and a 6-man of all people that are no longer with us.
Oh.
But you threw that out the
God
window
rest
for me.
his soul, yeah.
So I've got to go Bill Murray here.
Bill Murray. Bill Murray.
Again,
From 1977 to 1980, he hosted it.
Yeah, very sarcastic.
No, Bill didn't.
I don't think he did.
Oh, no. I've got him as a
I
weekend update
remember
host.
watching
It
him
was
do
Chevy
it.
Chase when they back in their day.
You're arguing with Wikipedia, 77 to 80, and at some point he hosted Weekend Update.
Yeah, well, I remember
according to
him.
my
Wow,
list.
That's
Yep.
crazy.
Okay.
I didn't know that.
There you go.
Is it me
Good
next?
pick by you. You had two people that didn't even know you did it.
I got one that I knew that nobody was going to pick. He was my favorite, Kevin Nealon.
Kevin,
I did like me some Kevin
I
Nealon.
loved Dennis
Kevin
Miller,
Nealon
too.
was really good in Weeds. Did you guys ever watch Weeds?
Yep.
Kevin Nealon was so good. He has a great show on YouTube called Hiking with Kevin, where he hikes with celebrities.
Right.
And he's just so dry. He films it himself. And
You know who he
so
reminds me of? Steve Powers from
A little bit.
Alabama.
Yeah. And
he's got some Kevin Nealon in
he
him.
does. He does. You're absolutely right. And you're going to go with Dennis Miller?
Dennis Miller by far.
Dennis
He's-
Miller was my second pick.
He's the best of the Weekend Update hosts of all time, and I think former cast members will agree with that.
Boy, I tell you what, that is
He was just a pompous fuck.
He's a very smart guy.
makes it
He
good.
likes to let you know that.
Yeah. It really worked out Monday Night Football, didn't
It
it?
did not at all.
it didn't really
No.
that much.
That is a good group right there. So our Weekend Update hosts, Norm Macdonald, Bill Murray, Kevin Nealon, Dennis Miller. Very, those are good picks. All right, so Dunaway, your best female, Tina Fey. Your best weekend host, Dennis Miller. You are now, to pick number 3, the biggest star of your team. This is from any era of Saturday Night Live, the biggest star you can name.
This is, you got a good draft order.
Yeah, because first pick matters here.
Short run, but I'm going to go Eddie Murphy.
Yeah, I think that's the play right there. That's your number one pick
think
right
that
there.
was the play.
I think everybody here was hoping Eddie Murphy would fall to them.
There's a ton of people.
He did not.
You don't have to leave the M's.
He did not.
So it's between two people. I'm going to go with, sadly, I was going to go Eddie Murphy. I will go with Will Ferrell.
Will Ferrell is a great pick by Rockstar.
It's between him and Chris Rock.
Okay, I'm going to stick with it, though, and I'm going to go John Belushi.
Great
That's a
pick.
good one, yeah.
I mean, if you're going to give me Chris Rock, I'm going to take Chris Rock. I think Chris Rock is very well known. Who did we leave off the board here?
Chris Kattan, you left
Chris
off.
Kattan, the worst guest in the
Anthony
history of
Michael
our show.
Hall.
Anthony,
Yes.
Ellen Cleghorn, you left off.
Tracy freaking Morgan.
Yeah.
Chevy Chase. We did
I didn't
not
think
pick
anybody was
Bill
gonna-
Murray.
Chris Farley was left out.
Chris Farley.
Yeah.
Yep.
I didn't think anybody was going to pick Chevy on anything.
Martin Short.
Martin Short was on it for 1 year.
He was on it 1 year,
a big
but he was there.
Chevy has killed his career.
Adam Sandler. We did not go with Adam Sandler.
Yep.
He still got opportunities.
No, there's opportunities. I just wanted to point that out. All right, so it is my pick for the next one. That is the power forward. That is an undrafted cast member who now is probably most known for impressions of the figures that they did on the show. I like having the first pick here because I think Dana Carvey is probably the easy call on this one. Dana Carvey did impressions of every presidential candidate for about a decade. And that's what he's most known for.
What's crazy, I was talking to Dunaway about this yesterday. Actually, yesterday was Dana Carvey's not a great impressionist. Like his George Bush is not great.
No.
He's more of a facial guy. I'm trying to think of but he was the impressionist guy. He had a show on TBS that lasted maybe 5 episodes called Impress Me.
Terrible.
But it was a good concept that just fell in his
Well,
plate.
you know what? Probably his best impression was Ross Perot.
Ross Perot.
Yeah.
I remember him
Just
riding
over
on
the
Kevin
top.
Nealon's back as Ross Perot. So good.
Do you remember the bit though where he's Ross Perot, and I don't know if you guys remember, but Ross Perot's running mate was Admiral Stockdale. And the great Phil Hartman was playing Admiral Stockdale, and they're driving in a car, and he throws him out of the car.
No, he keeps asking himself, and he keeps going, "I'm hungry."
Yeah, I know. And the guy was like a war hero. It was like they were treading on thin ice with the impression. But Phil Hartman is so good at it. All right, so I go Dana Carvey. Lance, your pick.
So just real quick, number 12 from the outside. If somebody's been selected, it doesn't matter. You can't go different categories, right?
Yeah, once they're off the board, they're off
They
the board.
should be. I'm
Well,
just
who did you
checking.
want there? Will Ferrell?
Will Ferrell was great at that. I am going to go, though.
This is the tough category.
Well, you know,
I was so
this
glad
is
I
the
got
guy
first
that I
pick on
think
this
is the best. He can do impressions of any and everything. I don't really know of one that comes to mind that he did on SNL, but I'm going Mike Myers. I mean, Mike Myers is a great impressionist.
I would say outside of his Saturday Night Live work, really the only thing you could argue was bigger is his Austin Powers work, wouldn't you say?
Ooh, I think his Shrek work
Is massive.
huge.
Right, I forgot about
Yeah,
that. I
that
always
hits.
forget about
that
the
hits
voice.
all demographics.
Yeah, I forgot about the voice.
Yeah.
So I made an axe murderer. I will go with the great Daryl Hammond.
Wow, Daryl Hammond.
Yeah.
He did Bill Clinton very well.
He
You
did
remember
Bill
that?
Clinton. He did Al Gore. He did.
His Al Gore was funny. I
His
forgot
Al
about
Gore is
that.
better than his Clinton.
Dude,
Yeah, you're right.
have y'all seen the documentary on Daryl Hammond?
I have not.
No, I know he was.
It's
he's-
incredible.
He's a big drug use guy too.
Well, and he's suffered from depression.
Yeah.
He's had a lot of issues,
Yeah.
but man, it's a fascinating
Is he still with
documentary.
us?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're up there, Jimmy.
Jim?
Rob Riggle for me.
Rob Riggle.
Wow, that's from out of left field.
But he's very short on Saturday Night Live, and then he's really good on NFL football pregame shows.
Yeah.
I like Rob Riggle.
All right, so Dunaway's team so far, his best female is Tina Fey. His best weekend update host is Dennis Miller. His person that is the biggest star from the show is Eddie Murphy. And his best impressionist is Rob Riggle. For Rockstar, his best female is Kristen Wiig. He liked Kevin Nealon from the update desk. He had Will Ferrell as his biggest star. And then Daryl Hammond on the impressions. For Lance, Gilda Radner is biggest female. Bill Murray from the update desk. He liked John Belushi as his biggest star, and Lance just picked Michael Myers. And I have got Kate McKinnon, Norm Macdonald.
3 horrifying
I have got-
famous ghost stories.
What are you doing? Watching TikTok over there?
I'm trying to get my guy here.
Rob Riggle? Are you trying to
No.
sell us on it? I got Chris Rock.
And Rob Riggle's a hole in your boat.
God, Danica, I thought it was a weird pick. I'm going to say I thought it was a weird pick.
Trying to find my
You're trying to find your center?
my favorite comedian who I can't remember his name right now.
So this is anybody that's ever hosted the show. This is pick number 5. Now, it can be a former cast member.
Yeah, real quick,
Pick
I
number
got
5.
I got a little vote of confidence from the back room that they thought I would win this.
Oh, yeah?
I was
You
more
like your team
scared
so far?
about Rocky, but I think through 4 rounds I've got this right now.
Do you?
Yeah, I feel like that, but it's all subjective.
What?
I would suggest that usually, anytime we do a draft or do anything, you always think you're winning, right? Isn't that
Yeah,
common?
usually.
Yeah.
Fair
I mean,
enough.
do you ever sit here and say, God, I am not doing
Yeah, I'm
well
sucking.
today?
So this is going to be our. Do I need to fill time for you here? I feel like you're looking for
Well,
somebody.
no, it's just embarrassing because I watch this guy all the time, and just because I'm having to think of his name, I
can't
cannot
do
think
it
of
on
his
the
name
fly?
right now.
Yeah.
It's Foxworthy, one word.
No, it is not.
If you.
Yeah.
This is the center. Anybody that's ever hosted the show, any host, and it can be
Help me
former
out,
cast
Rockstar.
members that have
Who
hosted the
can I
show.
think of? You know my favorite comedian is. Had his own show on Comedy Central, walked away from all the money.
Oh,
Dave
Dave
Chappelle?
Chappelle.
Dave Chappelle, yes.
He was never
Dave
on
Chappelle.
SNL.
No, he's
Yeah,
a
he
host.
was. He was the host.
Okay.
Yeah, he hosted.
Oh,
it.
that's
Iconic
okay.
host.
Okay.
Yeah.
In fact, he came back after he did that super awkward monologue, right? Where he made fun of everything that was going on that you weren't supposed to be making fun of at that time, that
Yep.
nobody was making fun of, and he was like, you know what? I can make fun of it. And he did, and everybody was like all cringy.
Yeah.
Dave Chappelle is Jim's all-time host here.
Mine, I'm going to go off the board. I knew nobody would pick him, but there was a hawk just flew by.
Yeah, that was a big hawk, too.
He is a former writer. He is trained in improv. He's one of the funniest guys I've ever seen.
Charles
Conan
Barkley?
O'Brien.
Conan O'Brien.
I'm going Conan O'Brien because he's got the chops for it, and I love his sense of humor, self-deprecating sense of humor.
Yeah. Lance,
Never
your
knew
pick.
Conan hosted. I missed that one.
He hosted it in 2010.
I'll go chase
Wow.
that down.
Boy, I could go with a very controversial figure. I could go with a former cast member. I'd like to go with Christopher Walken, but I don't think I'm going to do it.
I mean, Christopher Walken, is your Christopher Walken imitation
No,
there?
I need a little more liquor in me. I can do it.
I would
Better Christopher Walken.
I would say Christopher Walken. I mean, would you say the cowbell skit is their most famous skit of all time?
And it wasn't written for
Yeah.
him.
It's got to be.
Who was supposed to be the star in
I
it?
think it was, sadly, y'all talk about this, but Chris Kattan actually told us this
What?
story. It was written for someone like Alec Baldwin or something like that, and it just was not working. And
Yeah.
we passed it on like 2 or 3 weeks later with Christopher Walken, and like, this is going to be fun. Like, it almost got scrapped. By the end, I was like, this is just so weird. It's not a very funny skit until Will Ferrell had the thing where his fat was coming out when he's playing
Right.
cowbell. But
And Jimmy Fallon's laughing at
Everybody's
everything,
laughing. But it wasn't supposed to be Christopher Walken. It was somebody else. But they
Well, I remember that was our first question for Chris Kattan. So for those that don't remember the history of the show, Chris Kattan, I think, is universally agreed upon as the worst guest we've ever had.
Yeah. Yep.
And Chris Kattan comes in the studio. We welcome him to Birmingham. He says something, and I think I had the first question. And I asked about being in the cowbell skit. I was like, you're part of what is widely regarded as one of the best skits in Saturday Night Live history. We asked him a cowbell, and he gave that answer. And I think you had the next question. And you
That
asked-
was like you were in one of the least funny skits ever where they did the head
The
sideways.
head bob thing. And when Lance asked the question, he goes, I mean, are we going to talk about something other than Saturday Night Live? And then he answered the question.
Let's
and
talk
he-
about your health because you look really unhealthy.
He looked rough.
And he got done with the question. I can't remember if it was me or Dunaway. We're like, Chris, man, we appreciate it. Chris going to be at the Comedy Club. We'll see you next time you're in town. He's like, all right, guys, thanks.
Heard
Good
his
questions going.
stand-up was worse than our interview.
Yeah, it probably was.
Okay.
All right, we're to Lance. You're picking your all-time host.
I'm going to go, I don't love him, but he's very talented. I'm going to go Steve Martin.
He's done it more than anybody, right? Is he the...
He's in the five timers club. Tom Hanks, John Goodman.
I think he's done it 17 times.
Yeah,
Right.
he's done it. Him and Martin Short did it last season together.
I am going to go way off the board here, and I'm going to take Peyton Manning.
Okay.
That was a very funny episode Peyton Manning hosted.
I thought about Donald Trump.
Yeah, he's hosted it.
George Carlin was the first ever host, who was really good.
Oh, yeah?
George Carlin was awesome.
I just remember when Peyton Manning was the host, they did it was like a Boys and Girls Club of
Love that.
America.
Where
and
he's
he
just
throws
drilling them.
He's just drilling them and jumping their butt for not doing it.
Timberlake was a good host, too.
Yeah, JT was. All right, sixth man. Somebody that has never been an A-lister, but could be the funniest person on the show any given night.
Okay, we've got 12 offset. I think he needs to get, because he was talking about flagging if it's an
Okay,
A-lister.
so he gets to be the final call on A-lister?
You're
All right.
going to be the final word on that.
12 is thumbs up, thumbs down on A-lister. 12, for my sixth man, I'm going Phil Hartman. Thumbs up, Phil Hartman. I get Phil Hartman.
Okay, I had Phil
I
Hartman.
thought he was hilarious.
Is one of my two.
Wait, Phil Hartman, who is not an A-lister?
Not an A-list celebrity.
No.
He might have been an A-lister on Saturday Night Live.
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought that we were going by A-lister.
Yeah, mine's going to be a
Live.
little more mainstream, but I still don't think he's an A-lister. But the most sarcastic motherfucker ever, David Spade. I get him. Pretty good.
David Spade was funny.
Oh my God, he's hilarious.
Yeah.
I thought he did Weekend Update too, and I found out he did.
He did the Hollywood Minute.
He did
Okay.
Hollywood Minute.
And he had to
because-
pull away because people were criticized, getting so pissed. One being Eddie Murphy, being so pissed at the jokes he would take. He said, I was just getting hate mail because
I don't know. It was so
brutal.
awesome
Yeah,
though,
it
man.
was brutal.
The funny I remember the funniest thing when he did Hollywood Minute was when Demi Moore posed on the cover of was it Rolling Stone?
No, it was Vogue.
Vogue. And she was
Pregnant.
pregnant, and he goes, "Hey, Demi Moore, how about a little Demi less?" I mean, he delivered it
Yeah.
so well.
Yeah.
All right, Rockstar, you're sixth man.
I wrote this down. I didn't think anybody was going to pick him. I had one name on the board, Andy Samberg,
Damn it.
writer of Dick in the Box.
That was the only one
That
I was
was a
going with.
great
Not,
skit.
But
see,
he is a great.
Wow.
Maya Rudolph played that perfectly when she looked in the box. Oh my.
And that's who you were going to go with, Dunaway.
that was who I was going to go with, but I was afraid it was going to be a thumbs down. That he was
Oh,
an
Andy
A-lister.
Samberg, he's doing damn Corona commercials.
He's also
Bad Bunny.
was number one on primetime television the last time people were watching primetime TV with Brooklyn, whatever, 911.
No, Brooklyn's finest.
Brooklyn.
No, Brooklyn 911 maybe.
Or, that's one of those shows that kept getting canceled and
Yeah.
taken to another network, and then like people would write to get it back. But that is it is a funny show.
Yeah.
Your turn.
Big fan of Jay Farrow. Not an A-lister? Okay.
He's been on the show.
Yeah, he's
why I
really
like
good
him.
in studio with us.
He was
That's why I like
one
him.
of his best impressions is Denzel Washington. It's an incredible impression.
Yeah. You know what I liked about Jay Farrow was that we've had on Frank Caliendo before, and I like Frank. He was a good guest with us. I know you're not a huge fan.
Well, I just don't like. He's a tough interview because
Right.
he goes into all these characters.
Yeah, but he wouldn't let us do, like I had the idea, I was like, can we just throw out a topic and we can throw out one of your characters and you just keep talking about the topic? And he was like, I'd rather not do that.
Some people don't like to ad lib.
Yeah, they didn't want to ad lib. But Jay Farrow, we asked him to do it, and he's like, yeah, I'm all about it. And I think we did Pop-Tarts.
Yeah.
And we threw out Pop-Tarts, and we would just throw any of his impressions at him, and he would immediately do it. And it was fantastic. And I think his Barack Obama is really good.
His Barack Obama's really good.
Yeah.
Where are we? Oh, we
That's it.
That's it.
I was gonna.
All right.
So would you have given me Bill Hader?
Bill Hader?
Bill Hader's a complete stud, but I just thought Barry might have brought him into the A-list category.
All right, so Dunaway's female was Tina Fey. His Weekend Update host, Dennis Miller. His star from the show, Eddie Murphy. His best impressionist is Rob Riggle. It's the only...
Hole in the boat.
His host is Dave Chappelle, and his non-A-lister is Jay Farrow. I mean, I think it's a pretty good draft. I thought Rob Riggle was a stretch at that round.
try to wriggle your way out of this one.
Yes. Rockstar's female is Kristen Wiig. Weekend Update host for Rockstar is Kevin Nealon. His star from the show is Will Ferrell. His impressionist is Daryl Hammond. Rockstar picked his host as Conan O'Brien, and his non-A-lister is Andy Samberg. For Lance, his female, Gilda Ratner, pour one out. He took Bill Murray as his Weekend Update host, John Belushi as his star. His impressionist, he went Michael Myers. Steve Martin as his all-time host, and David Spade as his non-A-lister.
That'd be a fun dinner party.
Yeah,
What are some impressions of Michael Myers? Who does he
Well, that's what I
impersonate?
brought up. No, like he can do impressions of anything. Like I've just seen him do stand-up.
Yeah, but when I think impressions, I think of like, Pharaoh doing Barack Obama,
Yeah.
Will Ferrell doing. Yeah, I just wondered who Michael Myers impersonates.
I had.
if you're gonna try to shoot down my win, I
No.
can find
I
out.
mean, you're the one that said yours was a lot better than mine.
Oh, it is.
Rob
Jay
Riggle.
Farrell and Rob
Riggle
Riggle.
actually does impersonations.
Yeah,
which is why I drafted that.
Wait, who does Rob Riggle give me an impression?
NFL coaches all over the place.
Celebrity.
Yeah.
Does anybody watch it though?
I don't know. I'm not a big NFL guy like you.
For me, I had my female as
Think
Kate
he does a pretty good Sean
McKinnon.
McVay.
My Weekend Update host was Norm Macdonald. My star was Chris Rock. My impressionist was Dana Carvey. My host was Peyton Manning, and my non-A-lister was Phil Hartman. I mean, I like my team.
I like mine. We'll have.
All right, we'll keep you updated as the season goes on who wins each week. I mean, I got some dead guys on mine. That's gonna be a problem.
I got a lot of dead guys. on
This
mine.
dinner party would be greght. Some of you guys aren't speaking.
After my Aaron Rodgers, there's a good chance some of mine get killed in the next few days.
Yeah, that's true, yeah. All right, that is going to do it for our Mystery Fifth Hour. Please give us a thumbs up, and please remember our friends at McCurry Van and Car Rental, the local rental company you can depend on. All kinds of vehicles to choose from. That includes trucks, SUVs, and passenger vans. They make it easy to rent. They get you in and out fast. They got locations in Athens, Muscle Shoals, Huntsville, and in Coleman on 2nd Avenue Northwest. And coming soon, Tuscaloosa, and it'll be on Skyland Boulevard right there. Reserve your rental today, 256-559-1003. That's 256-559-1003, or visit McCurryRentals.com. Please give us a thumbs up if you haven't subscribed to our YouTube. Please do that while you're here, and you can subscribe to all our YouTubes, not just the Next Round Live YouTube, but also Disrupt the Media, War Down Pods, Roll Tide Pods. Follow us on social media at Next Round Live and at Disrupt the Media. Thank you for joining us on the Mystery Fifth Hour.